Have you ever wondered why the more you try to impress a woman, the further she seems to pull away? It is a frustrating cycle that most guys get stuck in without ever realizing why it is happening. Before we dive into the solution, welcome back to Female Mind Decode. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss a deep dive into the female psyche. And if you find this helpful so far, go ahead and smash that like button to let me know. Now, you have probably been told that if a woman isn't interested, you should either just walk away or double down on your efforts to prove your worth. People say you should be more available or show her just how much you truly care. But here is the uncomfortable truth that most men never actually hear. Women do not miss men because they need them for survival or support. They miss men because those men have created a powerful emotional presence that lingers even when they are physically gone. But here is the crazy part that most people miss. This video is not about cheap tricks, weird manipulation, or faking your confidence. It is definitely not about begging, chasing, or trying to talk a woman into choosing you. In fact, doing those things is the fastest way to kill any attraction she might have had. What we are going to explore today is pure psychology and real human behavior. We are looking at how attraction actually functions deep beneath the surface. You see, indifference is not a permanent state of mind. It is simply a reaction, and reactions can be shifted the moment her perception of you changes. A woman losing interest does not mean you are a failure. It just means the dynamic between you shifted in a way that killed the curiosity, the respect, or the emotional tension. Once you understand how that shift happens, you can learn how to flip the script calmly and confidently without even saying a single word. By the end of this video, you will realize that making a woman miss you isn't about luck. It is about understanding a game most men were never taught and choosing to play it differently. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Here is something most men hate to hear, but absolutely need to understand. The harder you chase a woman, the faster her attraction for you will disappear. Chasing feels like the natural thing to do. You like her, so you show effort. You send more texts, you try to impress her, and you look for ways to prove you are a high-value guy. But in the world of female psychology, this approach almost always fails. Why? Because chasing completely flips the balance of power. Instead of her feeling like she is lucky to have your attention, she starts to feel way too comfortable having it. And comfort without any tension never creates real desire. Nobody ever misses something they have unlimited access to. When you are constantly reaching out and trying to win her approval, you take away any reason for her to think about you on her own. You have already done all the emotional heavy lifting for her. Think about it like this. If something is always available, it stops being special. But the second it is no longer guaranteed, the human mind starts paying close attention. Chasing also sends a silent message of insecurity. It tells her that you do not trust your own value enough to just stand still and let things grow. Women are naturally drawn to men who respect their own time and do not need to chase attention to feel good about themselves. If you want her to miss you, the first rule is to stop chasing and create space. That space is where curiosity is born, and curiosity is where attraction truly begins. Most men think constant talking is the key, but silence actually has much more weight. It creates a gap that her mind will naturally want to fill. She starts questioning what you're up to, where your focus is, and why you aren't hitting her up like you used to. That wondering is exactly how she starts to miss you. Now, here is a truth most guys miss. Attention is a form of currency. If you give it away constantly, it loses its worth and becomes ordinary. But when it's limited, it suddenly feels incredibly valuable. I'm not saying you should ignore her or play childish games. It's not about punishing her. It's about finding balance. It's about showing that your universe doesn't circle around your phone or her text messages. A guy who doesn't feel the need to check in every 5 minutes shows real confidence, independence, and emotional control. Those traits pull a woman closer naturally. If you're enjoying this so far, smash that like button for me. Just remember this, sometimes the most powerful thing you can say to a woman is absolutely nothing. Let the pause speak for you, let the space do the work. That silence often has a bigger impact than any message you could ever send. But here is where things get really interesting. One of the biggest mistakes guys make is thinking that being available 24/7 increases attraction. They reply instantly, cancel their own plans for her, and keep their schedule wide open just in case she calls. What they don't realize is that constant availability doesn't build desire. In fact, it usually kills it. When you're always there, you become predictable, and being predictable is a one-way ticket to boredom. There's no tension, no challenge, and no reason for her to put in any emotional work. She already knows you'll be waiting there, no matter what happens. Human nature doesn't value things that come too easy. We value what takes effort, patience, and intention. The same rule applies here too. When you make yourself too accessible, you're basically telling her that your time isn't worth that much. Now wait until you hear this next part. Attractive men don't make their whole lives about just one person. They have big goals, responsibilities, and hobbies they actually care about. Sometimes that simply means they aren't free to talk. Saying, "I can't right now, I'm busy," isn't rude. It's healthy. It shows you respect your own time and expect others to do the same. The more you show your world doesn't stop for her attention, the more she starts to notice when you aren't around. She really starts to feel your absence. If you want more tips like this, hit subscribe and tap that bell so you don't miss our next one. Availability doesn't create longing, distance does. And when that distance comes from a place of genuine self-respect, it becomes incredibly attractive. But here's the crazy part about being honest. Most guys think being honest means putting every single card on the table immediately. They share every thought, plan, and feeling as fast as they can, believing an open book creates connection. But when it comes to attraction, too much transparency too early does the exact opposite. Attraction isn't built on logic, it's built on raw emotion, and emotion needs curiosity to survive. When a woman doesn't know everything about you yet, her mind naturally fills in the gaps. She wonders about you and imagines you, and that mental engagement keeps attraction alive. If you've ever felt this before, let me know in the comments. When you explain everything or give a play-by-play of your day, you kill the mystery that fuels desire. There's nothing left to discover or look forward to. Think about the movies that keep you hooked the longest. It's never the ones where every single secret is revealed in the first 5 minutes. It is the suspense, the questions that stay unanswered, and the slow unfolding of a story that keeps you fully invested. This exact same rule applies to your dating life. Keeping some mystery doesn't mean you are being a liar or deceptive. It simply means you understand pacing. It means you are letting attraction grow on its own naturally instead of trying to force a deep emotional bond before it has actually been earned. When you choose not to show all your cards at once, you create a sense of depth. You are giving her something to wonder about when you aren't there, and that specific type of thinking is exactly where the feeling of missing you starts to grow. Keep this in mind, it isn't the things you tell her that stay stuck in her head, it's the things you leave unsaid. But here is the crazy part that most guys get wrong. One of the quickest ways to kill attraction is to start competing for a woman's attention. This happens when you comment on everything she does immediately, try to outshine every other guy around her, or change how you act the second you feel like someone else is in the picture. This way of thinking is dangerous because the very moment you start competing, you are putting yourself in a position below her. You are silently telling her that her attention is a prize you need to work for, rather than something that should be a natural exchange between two equals. If you're enjoying these insights so far, go ahead and smash that like button to help us out. Now this is where it gets interesting. Men who truly know their own value never feel the need to compete. They simply attract. A man who is genuinely confident in himself isn't losing sleep over who else might be texting her or who else is trying to get her to notice them. He understands that if he has to fight and scrap for her attention, the whole dynamic is already broken. Trying to compete also screams insecurity. It shows that you are measuring your own worth against other guys instead of standing strong in who you are. That insecurity, even if you try to hide it, will always weaken the attraction she feels for you. Hit subscribe and tap the bell right now so you don't miss our next video on mastering these social dynamics. Here's the reality you need to face. When you finally stop competing, something amazing happens. You take all the pressure off the situation, you stop chasing her validation, and that shift by itself can totally flip the way a woman views you. Women are naturally drawn to men who create a high demand for themselves, not men who beg for a moment of their time. When you act like your time and your focus are actually valuable, other people will start to treat them that way too. So don't feel like you have to rush in to prove yourself. Stop fighting for her attention. Live your life as if you already know exactly what you are worth. When you move through the world like that, her curiosity will naturally start to pull her toward you. Most men are under the impression that showing more and more love is the best way to win a woman's heart. They think the answer is giving more attention, more constant reassurance, and more emotional work. But there is a very hard truth that many men learn way too late in life. Love without confidence doesn't actually build attraction. It just creates a sense of dependency. Women aren't usually drawn to affection first. They are drawn to certainty. Confidence is a signal of strength, stability, and solid emotional control. It is what makes a man feel safe and interesting without him even needing to say a single word. Think about how many times you have seen a woman pick a guy who wasn't the nicest person, the richest guy in the room, or even the most handsome, but he carried himself with a quiet sense of self-belief. That wasn't just some random accident. Confidence completely changes how every single thing you do is seen by others. Real confidence isn't about being loud or acting arrogant. It is actually very calm. It is about knowing where you stand and being totally comfortable in your own skin. It shows up in the decisions you make, the boundaries you set, and your complete willingness to walk away when something doesn't meet your personal standards. Confidence is built through your actions, not through your words. It means saying exactly what you mean and truly meaning what you say. It means not over-explaining every little thing you do. It means not chasing after her approval and not making yourself smaller just so people will like you more. Giving her affection might make a woman feel like she is appreciated, but your confidence is what makes her crave being around you long after you've left. Conversations will eventually fade away, and big emotions will settle down. Confidence is the thing that lingers in her mind the longest. It is what makes her replay your moments together, question her own assumptions, and feel your absence much more deeply. If you want to be truly unforgettable, you have to lead with confidence. The love can always follow later. Nothing wakes someone up faster than the sudden realization that you might actually be gone. It's not just a dating trick, it's how our brains are wired. We don't really value things that feel like a sure thing. We value what we think we could lose at any moment. And honestly, this is where so many guys mess everything up. They turn themselves into a permanent part of a woman's life before she's actually done anything to deserve that spot. They stay consistent and reliable, even when they aren't getting any respect or effort back. By doing that, they kill any sense of urgency. If you're enjoying these insights so far, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel. But here is the crazy part. The second she feels a shift in your energy, everything changes. When you aren't as available, when you aren't emotionally leaning on her, and when you stop chasing so hard, she starts asking herself questions. She'll wonder, why does he feel so different? Is he moving on? Did I get him wrong? That internal questioning is incredibly powerful. It forces her focus back onto herself and what she's doing. This is where her interest actually begins to grow again. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. This isn't about playing games or faking a pull away. It's actually about having real self-respect. It's about showing her, through what you do rather than what you say, that your time and your energy have a price. They aren't unlimited, and they definitely aren't guaranteed for someone who doesn't value them. When you are truly willing to walk away from a situation that doesn't feel right, you are showing strength. And let's be real, strength is what creates attraction. If you want to keep leveling up your mindset, make sure to hit subscribe and tap that bell so you never miss a lesson. You don't need to make a big scene or announce that you're leaving. You don't need a dramatic exit. You just need to go live your life fully, whether she's in it or not. In that quiet change, she'll start to feel your absence in a way that words could never describe. Here is the hard truth that most guys don't want to hear. Just being a nice, supportive, and available guy doesn't make you attractive. You can have the best intentions in the world and still be overlooked if you don't have boundaries. But wait until you hear this. Women don't actually miss the guys who stay, no matter how badly they're treated. They miss the men who had the backbone to step back when their worth wasn't being recognized. Love without any standards isn't love, it's just dependence. And that kind of neediness kills attraction faster than anything else. The men who stay in a woman's mind aren't the ones who begged or waited around forever. They are the men who knew exactly when to stop giving access to their heart. They knew when to walk away with their head held high. Absence isn't a way to punish someone, it's a way to give them clarity. When you take yourself out of a situation where you aren't respected, you give her the room to realize exactly what she just lost. Sometimes that realization hits her way too late. That's a lesson most men only learn after they've been burned. You have to respect yourself first, or you will be forgotten. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever chased someone too hard and felt them pull away? Or did you find that giving someone space actually brought them back? Tell me your story in the comments. I read every single one because we're building a community of men who value psychology over ego. In our next video, we're diving into why being too loyal too early can actually push a woman away. It's something almost everyone gets wrong. And I'll see you there.